pushes above its weight and has done for decades. For a country with tiny population, geographically remote, and with an inclement climate, the fact that Finland is considered a world leader in a number of areas is a remarkable achievement and a testament to the resilience and determination of its people. Maybe Finland's success is down to its world-famous sisu, or maybe it's just down to the fact that Finland has been able to develop an education system that is globally envied and endlessly studied. Whatever the reason, Finland is in many ways remarkable. If you are looking for a market with an affluent, sophisticated consumer base which is technologically advanced and open to new ideas, then the idea of doing business in Finland should appeal to you. Yes, Finland is in many ways an enigma, Nordic but not Scandinavian, with a seemingly endless border with Russia but definitely not slavish. Even the Finnish language has no similarities with its neighbors. For these reasons, Finland is often referred to as a culture lone wolf. Doing business in Finland can bring enormous benefits, but Finns are notoriously circumspect. Knowledge of Finnish business culture can help you overcome any initial reticence you might encounter and enable you to develop deep and long-lasting relationships. Finns are interested in people who are interested in Finland. So show an interest in all things Finnish and you will reap the rewards. This country profile provides an overview of some of these key aspects of Finnish business culture in a concise. The video includes information on background to business, business structures, management style, meetings, teamwork, communication, women in business, entertaining, and job checks.
What's the background to business in Finland? Finland is very much a country of paradoxes. It is Nordic and yet not Scandinavian. Its language is totally unrelated to Swedish, Norwegian, or Danish. Finland is heavily dependent on traditional industries such as pulp and paper, but at the same time is at the leading edge of many high-tech sectors. The people of the country are notoriously limited communicators, but very proficient in foreign languages. Finns are very proud of their nation's history and achievements, but swift to criticize any perceived national flaws. The paradoxes are often mirrored in the Finnish approach to business, and results in the Finns appearing in the eye of many other nationalities to be an enigma. It can be very difficult to get to know Finnish colleagues well. It can seem impossible to understand the drivers behind their business propositions. It is therefore extremely important when doing business in Finland to have a good grasp of the cultural background of the Finns. It is definitely true that in Finland a little knowledge can go a long way.
Finland differs from its Scandinavian neighbors in a number of ways. In business, probably the most striking is the lack of dependency on consensus as means of reaching important decisions. This is not to say that Finns are massively hierarchical or that they are non-consultative. It is more that Finns like to know exactly the perimeters of their responsibilities and will expect to be allowed to take the decisions which fall naturally with those perimeters. Thus, Finns will complain just as bitterly or probably even more bitterly than other nations about the slowness of Swedish decision-making process. The structures of the organization are supposed to be defined in such a way that everybody knows what is expected of them, and the organization trusts that employees will have the requisite levels of skill to perform their allotted tasks. Finland has experienced many years of comparatively calm industrial relations, and there is little, if any, antagonism between shop floor and management. Outside the metropolitan center of Helsinki, where more than 20% of the total population live, many companies have traditionally taken on an active social role within the community, quite rightly seeing themselves as mainstays of the local area. Therefore, outside the Helsinki, employees have been very loyal to employers with little job hopping taking place.
Industry and management in Finland has tended to be dominated by engineers. The dominance of engineers in the management corpus has led to a strong technical bent, with the reliance being placed on systems and well-organized procedures. Managers place more emphasis on effectiveness and order than on flair and initiative. Finns respect modesty and ironic self-deprecation. People don't like to show any airs and graces, nor they like to be on the end of sales pitch. Therefore, managers take a low-key approach to managing others. It is not particularly the manager's role to motivate the troops through pep talks or positive feedback sessions. Delegation is more a matter of setting tangible tasks and defining benchmarks against which results can be quantifiably and non-emotionally measured. Once tasks have been delegated, the manager would not expect or be expected to closely scrutinize progress. Within larger companies, major decisions would tend to be made by a team of senior executives in a collective fashion. This process can be slow and painstaking. The Finns have a history of conservatism, and change happens only after very deep consideration by all involved parties.
So, concerning my part, I'm going to talk about the Finnish business communication style. It is important when dealing with Finns to understand the Finnish communication style. Finns are quiet. On the global scale of volubility, they do not score very highly. Too many nationalities, the Swedes are silent race. In the eye of the Finns, the Swedes are a big circle. People are expected to contribute to a meeting or conversation only when they have something important to say. This is not unknown for a Finn, to sit through a lengthy meeting without making any verbal contribution. This lack of contribution should not be confused with a lack of comprehension or interest. The Finn will interject when he or she feels it inappropriate. Silence is an integral part of the overall communication pattern, and Finns are more comfortable in silence than most other nationalities. In negotiation situations, cultivate your own level of comfort in silence, otherwise you can find yourself giving away more than was originally intended. Finnish body language tends to be very limited and therefore difficult to read. Over-expressiveness in word or gesture is viewed with suspicion, and it's better to temper one's own body language. Do not mistake lack of visible or verbal reaction to a presentation as showing disinterest. Finns use humor extensively in business situations, but the type of humor may bypass other nationalities' comprehension. Humor is usually very laconic and self-deprecatory, and they tell more jokes about themselves than any other nations. The self-deprecating Finns will tell you that they are very as nation poor as foreign language. Don't believe them. Many Finns speak not only English and Swedish, the other official language of the country, but one of the two other languages as well. An unwillingness to lose face by making mistakes in a foreign language can create shyness at the beginning within an international environment. But patience and encouragement will bring great rewards in this area.
Finns are more individualist than collectivist, and therefore the Finnish idea of team working would tend to be that of a group of capable individuals being given the opportunity to complete well-defined tasks which put together will enable the team to reach its goals. The team leader will be expected to lead from the front by outlining the goals and team roles, but then will recede into the background to allow each team member to work consistently at their allotted tasks. Too much day-to-day interest from the team leader could be misconstrued as criticism or doubt in an individualist's ability to complete their tasks.
Women and business in Finland. Women have always played a major role in business life. Finland was the first European country to give the vote to women in 1906, and the small size of the population has added impetus to encouraging women into the workforce. Many women can be found in the most senior positions in large Finnish companies, and this number seems to be increasing year on year. The burdens to family life are relieved through the provision of excellent state-funded nursery provisions.
Business dress code in Finland. Fines are not ostentatious, and this is reflected in the dress code adopted in mainstream business circles in Finland. A wide variety of styles and levels of formality can be observed, but everything is typified by a desire to be seen as pretentious. Men tend to wear sports jackets and trousers in offices, and these are often in muted or pastel colors. Women will often wear trousers and again will be smart without being too flashy. Casual wear such as jeans and t-shirts can be found in many of the more high-tech industries. Be aware of the climatic changes in Finland. Take lots of layers of warm clothes in the winter. It's cold outside, but sometimes very hot in the office. Hats, scarves, gloves and rubber-soled shoes are advisable in the winter months.
Right now, I'm gonna give you some Finnish business tips. Industrial relations in Finland have been characterized by cooperation and calm. Finnish companies can be quite paternalistic in their approach to the wider community. Engineering and engineers are held in great esteem, and managers from this discipline very often dominate companies. Finns are comfortable with the hard sell approach. Meetings are very often used to the dissemination of information rather than a debating chambers. Meetings tend to be highly structured, and interruptions and diversions are frowned upon. Punctuality is important, but less so than in Sweden. Do not feel the need to talk during a meeting merely for the sake of saying something. Finns respect those who interject in a timely and appropriate way. Being overly enthusiastic about a proposal can backfire on you. It is necessary to look at the possible downside before succumbing to optimism. Silence is golden in Finland. Do not feel the need to fill every silence that occurs in a meeting. Body language and feedback are limited and difficult to read. Do not be too disheartened if your presentation does not meet with the applause you had anticipated. Humor is acceptable in many business situations, and Finns appreciate dry and sardonic wit. Finns are good linguists and often speak several languages to a good level. Fear of making mistakes can make Finns reticent to show their level of fluency.
Hello?
Hi, this is Hannah. I'm very sorry. I just wanted to tell you that I'm going to be 5 minutes late. I'm sorry.
Oh no, thank you for letting me know. That's no problem at all. See you soon.
See you later.
Bye. Hi, Carla.
Hi, Ada.
Hi, Carla.
Hi, Ada. Nice to see you again.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me here.
But looking at our Facebook reach, I really think we need to reconsider our social media strategy.
By the way, can we also talk about the book orders?
What? But looking at our Facebook reach, I really think we should reconsider our social media strategy.
Yes, I also think we should focus on that. Thank you for having me here. By the way, it was such good weather today, don't you think? And did you hear about the elections last week? The outcome was very interesting. Thank you for having me here today. So, shall we start with the agenda?
Could you please first introduce yourself? For example, where are you from and what are you doing in Finland?
Okay, so I'm Stijn Sanders. I'm from Eindhoven, the Netherlands. And I moved about 3 months ago to Finland to live with my girlfriend, and then I also started working there. I think that Finnish people are quite closed.
Yeah.
And one of the other things I think is very typical is that Finns like to do things for themselves or something. They go to their cottages or they go away, but they really enjoy those things. It was easy to get accepted. I didn't have to do much, and I did not have a culture shock, as it is quite related to the Netherlands. Though. Yeah, I think don't bullshit too much around and be quite to the point. I think that's one of the do's in Finland. I think you shouldn't lie or something, or like I think Finns are quite strict to those things.
Yeah.
You should really be honest and do what you say. Yeah.
So, are those stereotypes confirmed while you've been living in Finland?
Actually, the first one, the closed personalities, they're partially confirmed, but mostly not.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're walking down the street somewhere, yes, then people are closed. So, stranger to stranger, they are. But when working, for example, or talking to other people, when you get to know them a bit better, then they're really open and really talkative. Like, oh yeah, one of the ones is that Finnish people are never smiling, but actually they're smiling quite a lot if you talk to them.
Yeah, like me right now.
Thank you.
No, that's really nice.
Close case now.
Action.
So thank you for...
And action.
Hi,
Agenda?
So, Vera.
Did you hear about the outcome of the elections?
2 weeks? No, it's nothing.
Action.
Fail. Do it again.
I would. You might encounter and enable you to develop deep and long-lasting relationships.
It's cold outside, but sometimes I know that it.